it is an exciting time for the Anchorage Police Department. Well, come Monday, any driver's license really, but Nevada driver's license won't be connected to, primarily Anchorage Police Department and all of the police forces, respectfully, in America that are in our interstate compact. And I've been, cutting shirts since middle school, and I borrowed these scissors from my manager here. But then I usually do it on our bed, and I do it a lot of times with sweatshirts and t-shirts that I get around town here in Las Vegas and in Pahrump. But I don't want to, the shredded part to get on Agape. What should I do? Very funny. How are all the illegal acts and actors around me? We're good. Actually, things have changed since, last November, December when I got in here, and I was laughing hysterically at really funny, shit online. And I think this was on TikTok. I got my drink and my two-step, It's on, it's on, it's on, I'm on, get the liquor and tell my friends, come on, hey, AA meetings. Now, I'm not OCD, but of course that's not right. So let's see. I got my drink and there's stuff I've always racked, shorts, or I cut something too short. I got my drink and my two-step, It's on, it's on, it's on, I'm on, get the liquor and tell my friends, come on, hey, AA meetings. Like I said, if you want to dedicate your life to that, that's fine. And I am finally unbrainwashed out of it. It took because I would not go for 6 months or 12 weeks or 3 months, and then I would always feel guilty or lonely, and then I would go back. So it did take longer to get the brainwashing out. And of course, now there's an anti-AA movement, and I remember reading something about Charlie Sheen, and he got the wrath of leaving AA and everything. And now there's all these people on Instagram Q&A, and I won't say the name, but I think it was one of Hugh Hefner's girlfriends on that show, and will be famous if she wasn't on that show. And then I guess Madonna has the rainbow at some, but I don't know if it's AI. And I liked the song Vogue when I was little. Do I think she's aged well or anything? No, plastic surgery or not. I'm at home, right? With the other mirror. Should I walk to Rainbow for 4 hours and risk getting killed right now and buy more, or somewhere else, Ross, or go to a nicer store because I have money? Should I? I did this by choice, like I said. So, and then I made one where we did polar plunge. And this was way before Scott and I were romantic. And it was Captain Cook that I was thinking yesterday, the Shishi Hotel. So there's a woman named Jenny Price, and she worked for Alaska Link, apparently. I don't know from where. I think in Georgia. He wanted me to become friends with her. And her voice was whatever, and she tried to be a snob. So the night before, I didn't drink, or maybe I did, but not that much. It was a Friday night for polar plunge. I had these pink, it used to be online. I have it somewhere in my Vimeo account, I think. These pink shirts that said, Your Alaska Link, Fox, ABC, CW. So I made Jennifer Price one too, and they came out really good on the sides too. I kind of knotted them up. I don't think, maybe that was a New Jersey in me from Seton Hall, but not really. So it's not, it's kind of, I don't know what the word is. And they came out really good. I bought them, but it took me a while, over an hour. And I think I had the extra large ones. And of course, Senator Murkowski was there, and so then I think she sent me a picture autographed of us there to Your Alaska Link. And this was before my DUIs or anything. And it was cold. It was cold. And then they had these hot tubs that you got in after. And we took a tour bus. And that Christina Loeb chick, I brought Agape. So when I plunged, she carried had a guy. And then on the tour bus, why would we have no party bus? Because we weren't drinking. Did I have a couple shots before? I don't think so. Shooters? I don't think so. So Scott Centers, I had a picture holding Agape in his lap. This was in 2016. Then, the first year I got there, they have Joe. I love Joe. He has special needs. He's their Special Olympics mascot up in Alaska. So most of them, like Gretchen Parsons and I think Jessica Grunling and Caroline Flynn or something, they're in the 2700 East Tudor Road parking lot. And they're jumping on something. And they're going like this. And I guess Gretchen was the star. But I didn't want to do that. And then they have Joe, Kurt's brother, jumping into a kiddie pool. And then Thomas, I think, had to film it. Or Mark Sable. And I didn't want to do it. And Doreen Lorentz is also not in it. And I didn't want to plunge the first year. I said I didn't want to. But I went to that party, like not free party thing, but they had it in, our studio / garage. That's what the studios are made, still at 2700 East Tudor Road. So Agape and I went there before. And Bill Fielder, Scott's boss that owns, Your Alaska Link, 99% they say, he held Agape and took a liking to Agape. And she was, in 2016, she was 12. We had just gotten there. It wasn't that long. I think this was, and then I first met Bill Fielder by face at our Halloween party. So that was a couple years. Sorry, we got there October 13th. That Thursday in October, Kalamata, Gatula and I, Agape and I, and then Bill Fielder showed up at our Halloween party, so I wore this guest dress that my dad bought me. I have it on other videos and pictures, and I just got dressed up because you had to dress up as Miss Piggy, so I got the nose. But I only stayed for about an hour and a half, and I wasn't drinking that. This one I did better. What other thing can I say? There's so many things about Scott Centers. So he obviously had preemptively done this for a long, long time. And, I've repeated myself so much, but I don't think anyone else locally is cool and shows, but I did learn about felons that are FBI informants, and they have to do what the FBI says. Now, is that good or bad? I don't think, with respect, Kash Patel can watch everybody. That's bad. And I don't necessarily think all felons are bad. My male best friend up in Alaska, I won't say his name, I think he's a convicted felon according to something I read online. We haven't really talked about it, but I guess, I don't know. And then I have good police reports that I won't give away too much information from last summer at the end of July, that at first glance, it looks like, because they say, I was suicidal, I told neighbors I wanted to jump off the balcony, suicide watch, and I wanted to kill my animals. Now, I did text friends that are like family, and I did say it's something like it's straight suicide watch out here, because I was looking over the balcony, which I don't usually do, and there were tons of Teslas. I mean, many. And right in front there, so if you're facing the east side, right front row and center of the Regency Towers, there's guest parking, and that Elvis impersonator is there a lot. Now, I don't even notice these things, right? With a light pink cat. I think it's I don't even know if it's a Cadillac convertible. He's parked there, but to my knowledge, because I just don't talk or care about, when I don't care, not even, I really care about who I care about, and that's it. I don't even really, maybe it's the only child in me, or just, I don't really like that many people. I just don't care. What was I saying? Oh yeah. So you can only park there for 45 minutes. It used to be an hour, or you'll get tickets. And like I said, probably because I've been parking up there for 7 years, so on the side there in front of, if your car, it's east of our tennis courts, and then our pool is behind it. So I would park there a lot because I want, up and down a lot with my television equipment. And so I get this warning on my dashboard in the Jeep, and of course Scott parked his Alabama Bronco that he bought me for Christmas in 2023, but it's under his name, and we all can assume that he rolled it, drove it back to Alabama, because he hasn't been back to Regency Towers since whenever he was up there with LVMPD, or maybe it's not mine, so I'm not sure technically. So I get this notice. It's really the only time I've stood up for myself in there. I get this notice that I can't park up there anymore, and it's a warning, and it's $125 next time. So I went in, but I was a little huffy. I think I went upstairs. I probably had to use the bathroom, get water or eat or something. So then I went back downstairs. Oh, and I would like to say, anytime I smoked medical marijuana or took a hit of it, I would always brush my teeth and use Listerine, because I didn't want anyone to smell it in the elevators or common areas. But it is medical. So maybe I even use some, because it does help me. Not like that though. So then I went back downstairs and I asked Veronica, I said, and that we have third-party management all the time that changes, and they don't make any money. I did joke to someone here, you could work there, but I mean, and there's a way you can dress nice without having a lot of money, respectfully, for work. So I go down there and I say, I got this. I've been parking up here, not huffy or anything, but I've been parking up here for 7 years. You know what she says? It's private property. And I said before, very nicely too, just the facts. I have a Clark County, TV press parking pass on the back of my Jeep. So I couldn't park there anymore. Wow, 3 shirts, kind of. It's the Seton Hall colors. Now I wanted to keep it up here. Red, light blue, and blue. And people were, I'm not saying, I'm not perfect, but we're almost at our 4th of July parade, right? And so last year, I was there in my KPVM television dress that I got made, and our mayor was waving. And that was a different time. That's when I wanted her to like me, because she was Greek. Now, I didn't put it together. I don't, respectfully, if you're a good Democrat or not, I'm fine with it. And she's up there with a, Star Spangled Banner shawl, and it was hot, waving on top of a red fire truck. And then I saw in a, I think, convertible, our governor, lieutenant governor. But I was, ashamed still. And then I parked in Summerlin. Where does the front of the parade start? Nobody would even tell me. And looking at my parade coverage, I noticed all of these fake MAGA, deep people and everything. And so then I'll keep his name. I interviewed Andra L. Berry and his wife were in a convertible, and it was the end of the procession of the parade. So I followed their car and with all of my TV gear for a long time, and I interviewed him after, and I think it was really good. And like I said, I didn't premeditate the questions. I didn't honestly even know who he was, and it has really good banter and chemistry, if you know what I mean, professionally. And his wife was really, really great too. I don't say great. She was charismatic as well. She wasn't in it. And I said also, because I got a dress with, he wasn't the president then, but our U.S. President, Donald J. Trump now, with OJ, the same dress, and Marin Brewing Company Breakout Stout. Now those were all stolen with a bunch of other of my grandmother's icons, our Greek Orthodox icons, going 4 to 7 generations back in Samos, my television equipment, all my shoes, all of my purses. Now I did have a favorite Gucci bag lately. It was white with silver hardware, and Scott Centers, and I bought it he bought it for me at the Gucci, where I think in Caesars, and the silver hardware doesn't come out that much, and I like gold too. And the Maserati, my birthday, January 22nd, 2022, and someone hit us in the back of the Maserati, and because I thought there was a sensor of the metal and everything, I had a meltdown, and I was intoxicated, and I threw it away in one of these trash cans, and I effing want it back, and I don't say effing, just the principle. And then I went into the old Keeping It Real Club, 1329 South Commerce Street, and some, I think, Latina or small business owner is in there. I asked if she wanted to buy it, and then I've seen her, not lately, but are you okay? Yes, I'm great. And here's the thing, without even trying, I'm Mob CC Vixen or whatever they are. I live in the Regency Towers. I'm so good at news and who I am, and I can be a smaller pinup without even trying. And everyone's calling me a bitch and a hoe on the street, give me $100, stalking me illegally, trying to run me over on, and what, buses, Class C vehicles, non-Class C vehicles, motorized scooters, mopeds or whatever. And I know illegally they're listening to me everywhere, right? This has already hit the internet before I can even get it on. Or is it just bad AI talking for me, right? Happy Friday, love Happy Athens. I felt something on, this foot right here, and it just, popped in here. I don't say words like that. It looks like a little fake crab. So, okay. I got in here November 7th, 2025, and I am on another 6-month lease, thankfully, that will be signed. And what was I going to say? So when I was in here, I wasn't doing as well, right? I was really intoxicated, very skinny, with short hair and the whole thing, and I don't need to repeat myself anymore. The lighting's better, I guess. So Bill Fielder, my old boss, right? And he said, Maria, I think you need to get some help. Now, according to the internet, he owns Your Alaska Link. That's Fox, ABC, the CW, statewide Alaska, 99%. And then I called a Jackson Kimbrell, who I had met one time, and we got pizza, and we were sitting in the upstairs of, our compound right there at 202 2nd Avenue, Cross Street, MLK, 35555. And then Scott Centers also bought other land. And there's a picture, actually metal on metal or something. There's a picture of us, kissing, pecking, in front of City Hall right there in Fayette, which is really a hop, skip, and a jump from our compound, when he bought it all from Brenda Webb, W-E-B-B, and her husband was there, Billy, and he nonchalantly had said, when I first met them, that, he was sober for years and years from alcohol, and he, didn't like AA either. Oh, and so Scott Centers bought land just down the hill, and he got it gutted and landscaped, and he was going to put one of those, not trailers, but like the nicer industrial structures, and then Happy was going to run all around, and he was going to fence it off. Now, of course, he didn't do any of that. When I was there, and I wanted to get pigs and name them different names, women, and because I didn't want them to procreate, and I had their names out. Maria Callis was one. I can't remember the other name. It wasn't anyone like cheesy or anything, and they were going to have different outfits. But then I thought, how am I going to ever leave? Because all my pigs will be there. I can't fly with my pigs. And then when Scott Centers got really mean, when I guess, I didn't want to leave here because I had nothing to do there. He said him and Jackson will just do their own thing down in the cabbage compound, he called it, and little Randall could go. So I did mail a Christmas gift to one of my favorites, and it got returned right here at USPS, and I certified it in our sister state, and it's back in this mailbox. And as many of us know, I couldn't forward, so I filled out 2 forwarding address here, temporary. That's Maureen, Athens, and Maria. That never showed up, but from USPS, local, state, national, who knows, it showed up here. 2 envelopes, actually. I said one before, Maureen, Maria, and Maria Athens. Is it AI or not? I don't know who's making fun of me or who's good. And, some people are more famous than others. And so we see things as we are, not as they are. So that's good. And I'm getting better, too. Back to this. So it comes here saying that they need, USPS needs another form of identification to forward the mail from 3111 Bel Air Drive, 25D, to 230 North 11th Street. Don't tell anyone, Unit 34, 89101, not to be confused by 89109. So I guess it's a National Recovery color or something. I'm not going to use the return addresses here, but from, I have Regency Towers, but a different, suite house number that I've been using, and sometimes things shows up. I'm going to put, ample stamps, I think, to see if it gets there. I don't, and if it gets there, it gets there or not. Now, when I was an undergrad, I had an aunt. I'll keep her name out of this, because it is, and so aunt can mean a lot of things in Greece or generations, but she was related to me. Now, she, before it was medical marijuana or anything, wanted me to send her that in the mail. So I think I got these at the post office, right here on, what is that? Las Vegas Boulevard and Carson, right? So I'm just going to put, I don't know how many, 4? I've eyeballed a lot of stuff, and it always has gotten there. So, might as well just put on 5, I guess. United States Post Office, once again, is a federally regulated and controlled entity, and of course the acronym is United States Postal Service. Now, my papoo worked there for years, and he, so I've heard he worked really hard and, was an alcoholic. I can't function as, and of course my, pretty much my favorite saying in Alcoholics Anonymous, because there's some good in it, it's not how often you drink, but it's progressive. It's what happens to you when you drink. Yamas. Happy Friday, May 22nd, 2026. Happy Paraskivi. The one and only Ms. Athens and Maria Athens, Athens.gr, and the whole thing. And according to my Instagram, lately there are emojis with the Greek flag, the Israeli flag, the Persian flag, I don't say Persian, and the Mexican flag, and more. And they're all making fun of, well, everything. I would never do that. Greek Orthodox religion, which I feel blessed to be born into as a Greek, right? Maria Athens and church and state aren't separated. We say that the godparent and or parents are the only relative that you can pick. I know. So, try to see how USPS works. And regardless if it gets there or not, I mean, it's either going to get there or not. Not the AA way, the Athens way. Do I need to repeat myself that everything they're doing is illegal? So I've worn one of these pretty much my whole life. I like it, not my whole life. So these are made, they say, by nuns in Greece. And well, I have one on my right arm because I'm left-handed but ambidextrous. I write with my left hand, but I play sports and will shoot guns with my right. And I also will eat with my left hand, but not exactly. So we're all just so great. Now all left-handed people are smart. And I used to say, because I thought it was impressive, that President Obama is left-handed too. And they said, and I don't think smoking's cool, but he snuck cigarettes so people wouldn't take pictures of him at the White House or videos. So this is what I'm going to say. Now, this was $18 each, so 18 times 2. And I sent it certified to our sister state. And how much was that? $20. And that was the week before Christmas of last year, right? And this showed up last month. Can I help you? Why are you standing there looking at me confused?
Get the fuck out of here. I need to change my mailbox. Don't point that thing at me. Don't fucking point it at me.
I didn't. Just called me a bastard. Is that an African accent? And he opened the mailbox next to me and didn't even look in. I am naturally flexible, so I will do that. You know, I will do that rather than touch it. Does everyone like my new underwear? And then one time I did that and Scott said, that's what crackheads do. I had recently got out of resolutions and it was going into Nordstrom's at Fashion Show Mall. There's no reason to showcase any of this, but this stupid place, West Care, I shared in there. And of course we've got Nevada Adult Day Healthcare Centers. So I don't know. And he's senior because I am really wanted. I could drop you off there and I can go back to work. So there, I'm not even going to get into it. We were living at Fremont 9, sharing a general way. Donna was my sponsor at the time. We had just finished the 12 Steps to Freedom. The day before at Fremont 9, I'd made her lunch. I remember pasta, a salad, and I'd made a dessert. Now, did I make it from scratch? I probably did, but also used a box of Duncan Hines or something. And not improvised, but added stuff without a recipe. So we're in there and we didn't have to wear a mask. And I brought Agape in her stroller, okay? And she starts shaking her Agape stroller. You can't bring a dog, and all of a sudden, you need to put a mask on. I said, no, I don't. Then she died, so I was like, spittle in her face. And one of her friends, Kathy or something, asked me once, why do you seem angry? Now, I never shared about anything that happened to me. And then, of course, perfect timing, I was done with that sponsor in our neighborhood, and she and her husband had loaded guns in their cars and in their house. And when I realized everything, I even said to Scott Centers, I feel like calling anonymous LVMPD and telling them 1856, I think, Pinecrest and the Las Vegas Country Club. But of course, was my favorite. How's Juneteenth? Reporting as Maria Centers, right? I had no idea she was part of that. And she was really abusive. She calls herself a warrior on the front lines or something. Okay. So Southwest Airlines was, of course, coming down from the air, landing at our airport here. Reed or McCarran? Reed. I didn't live here, or then I did. So Scott Centers would say, and I was working usually in my room, in the second bedroom that I made as my TV studio, Low Randall's ROTC substation, and Agape was in the bed, and then in Kalamata wanted to spend a lot of time in there. The last about, 6-8 months or even a year, I was so happy we're all in there. But then Happy would be in the hallway a lot, looking on. So he would say, I'm flying over the RT right now. Take a picture. So I would get up from whatever I was doing and go to, the sliding glass doors. That's 25D like dynamite, dog. And you sometimes go on the balcony and take a picture. And sometimes the planes would get really close. And you can see the brands of it, of the airplane. And I need to correct myself. The more planes I am frequently, the less scared I get. But if I wait too long in between, because I've gone, I counted one time, I was on 25 planes in 1 year. That's a lot. And now, of course, everything is in essential services. A passport. They say, this was a couple years ago, 0.4% of Americans have passports. Let's all get them, and we can go to Alaska. We're right on a legal target here. So this mailbox, Scott Center's only sibling, Brian Centers, Bryan, Centers like Centers, he died in March of 2021 of alcoholism, and his mom, Barbara Garden Scott, were in the hospital room. So I sent a letter, a card. You know, I teared up. I met Brian, and he was a good one. And when he was blacked out, I didn't know. He drove us to an AA meeting because I was in one of my dry spells. Over the bridge from Palmetto to Bradenton, Palmetto. And he said, "Do you still want to marry Scott with all of his kids?" I promised. I only thought he had one. I promised I wouldn't say anything. That he had, 2 in Germany and 1 in Kentucky that we know about. And the one in Kentucky tried to meet Scott, his dad, through his grandfather, Jack Centers, in Kentucky. Scott Centers says he's from Savannah, Georgia. I guess it sounds posher, but he wouldn't meet him. So I mailed, long story, boring. So I mailed the card from here, and I put to his mom, and I said, as the Greeks say, comma, may his memory be eternal. He flips the F out and goes crazy that I bothered his mom, but it got there. Then I wrote 2 platonic, love letters to a friend, and I hand delivered one in a different town, and I mailed one here in December, and it was before, Christmas, and one of them got there. So let's see. Like I've said, when I'm done with the person, place, or thing, I am done. Now, it takes me a long time. Some things I'm not done with, ever, never, I think. So. Listen, I know it says 12:30. I remember. Like I said, I don't want this anyway. I don't want to break a nail. And I do like them longer. And, with my other hand, and I also don't like to think I'm posing, right? I don't want to have super long nails at any, all their stuff. So I always do that too. So, but as we can see in News 25, as Maria Centers and Maria Athens, my thumbnail on my right hand, it curled over really bad and gross, which whoever was doing it, I'm not sure if it was nails, but definitely in my toenail polish that I painted at home. And when Scott said, and I would sit on the ground of, where our closet is, and then double sinked bathroom and shower and toilet, I would put a little towel down and put my feet on, the tile. And when Scott was home, and I would say, it feels kind of, so then I would put nail polish remover in it, thins it out. But on my left foot, the second to last toe, smallest, it always felt like there was pressure on there. And I told him, and he kind of got this look that I now know. And I just popped that off in November or December. And I was saying things around town and in my rental home that, for all of them. Well, look at this beautiful new structure that popped up. It's modern, it's sophisticated, right here. And like I've been saying, this is all prime real estate. Bonanza. So I'm walking here. Of course, we've got U.S. Vets here, and it's still Bonanza, right here, which was, stomping grounds for Agape and I. My first year of sobriety, hers too, really, in a way. So, and somebody was stalking me, made a right. So I went like this, as a joke. An LVMPD, respectfully, SUV drives by. Okay, good or bad? I don't say bad cop or good cop. I don't say any of that. Should I be doing that? And I've always said since I moved here, after a couple weeks, facts are facts. I have never seen such an unsophisticated, it's not even, they're not ugly. And now there are some beautiful people here and handsome, but across the board, you can't even make it up. They're just nothing. And I give credit where credit's due. There are smarter people in Alaska, and some of us live here. Okay, it's not Sin City. We're not partying on the Strip and or Fremont. You know, some of our kids, I don't have kids. I don't regret not having kids. If I wanted kids, I would have had kids or adopted if I couldn't. And no, my service animals and or Cabbage Patch is not a replacement. And I don't want anybody else's kids. Toro U. RTC. And according to even the LVRJ, Dr. Lerner, will our Mayor Shelley Berkeley, who spearheaded Toro University online and not, who came out of retirement for one last political hit mayor, he couldn't campaign with her because of their ethics or his. And according to the internet, they had a 450 plus iconic love affair reception and or wedding at MGM Grand. Okay, I would never want that. Now, I guess it would depend on who I married, and I don't think about marriage and or sexuality, but since I left Scott Centers, I have been thinking about it. So, and I got a really good banana bag and good ER at the Manny El Pacquiao fight, July 20th, 2019, in front of my father. He might know who I am. Oh no, somebody lost their shopping cart. Oh no, do you need a shopping cart, do you? You can have this one. Here, you can have it. There you go. For the fake homeless people. Who did they steal that from? Who paid for that? Our wraparound services or our taxes? Oh no. So the same stuff, I keep seeing these Virginia license plates, right? So Virginia. Okay, I don't want to live in Virginia again. Arlington, Virginia is just as expensive or more than Marin County in certain parts. And I never want to live anywhere else. Call me a samba, I'm kind of like my mother in that way. So my father has romanticized going back to Richmond, Virginia before, but like I've told him for years to retire there. He would hate it, okay? He romanticizes the Fan. That's a neighborhood in downtown RVA because he grew up, you know, very poor in a violent household. We all know about that, right? With an alcoholic, abusive father. Papu is my grandfather. And is that why I suffer from alcoholic problems, alcoholism? I don't know, right? I'm not violent. Okay, so, but it's not like that anymore. So they will go spend a ton of money to live down there and they would both be over it. That includes my, well, English-born stepmother, okay? Her mom is from England and her father is English-American. What war was that, right? I love London. Do I want to live there with the weather? It's better than this right now, but then I'll miss this. But look at this place. What is going on here? So it's pretty hot today. I would have walked happy probably right around here, of course, or not walk. Walk for mommy, I love you so much. And of course he would get stuck there all the time. And I would touch the pavement all the time and gladly, gratefully get up and walk him at any time or night. It's Friday night, so I probably would have walked him down here. I don't say Fremont, but downtown at night after the news. Not after the news, I didn't really watch it. I had self-esteem issues. One of the many times my father came to visit me here, he loved the weather, and that's when I connected to. He said it's like a dry heat like Greece, and the sun is out, not humid, right? So he liked it better than Florida. Miami is actually his favorite city. So he didn't want to live at the Regency Towers because it is not that nice. And I said, well, you could live in another one. And then Scott Center said, we could buy the one next door, open the wall, and put all of our parents in there. That would be, well, his mother, Barbara Gard, and my stepmother, Jennifer, and my father, Lonnie, well, Labros, Athens. So we look here with Scott Center's real estate, Marty, and he drove us in here, and it was nice. It was nice. The windows were nice and everything. But then my father asked me to drive around because I didn't come down here then that much. This was in 2018, I think, the first time. Drive around downtown and walk around. Okay, and they have two bulldogs at the time, Herculon and Argos. Then everybody started buying French bulldogs, naming her Herculana. So Greek or not, who has a dog or is named Herculana? Now that's going to be all over, well, Instagram now. Herculana in New Jersey. Oh, that was a new name, Herculana. So I walked around here. And they had the little area for your dogs outside there. And so, but then I was thinking, now my dad's getting older, but I don't really think like that. He's getting older. He's going to come out here and listen to all this stuff. And they had the street performances now, not putting it all down, but it just wouldn't be for him now. But then again, he said, well, it gets too hot there. I said, I know, but what do you do anyway? You work out, you have a home gym you made. in our basement. That's nice. You know, it's not like some, you know, but it's nice. And you work a lot. You know, you work a lot. You write a lot. And you like, you know, with me and or Jennifer, we like to, you know, eat out and maybe go get a dessert or something. So then I said I would get all your groceries because I'm used to that anyway. And so there's somebody that lives in there that I don't know owns a Regency Towers. Now I've never talked to her, gross, but she's on our board. Love Maria Athens. And like I said, I'm old new Las Vegas without even trying. Well, I live in the Regency Towers. They've copied everything I've done, and I can be your new pinup too without even trying. But nobody said I look like Marilyn Monroe lately, and I'm more voluptuous for me. I look like just me. Do you like my jawline? I do. When I see it in videos, I like it. But you can't replicate it. How's everybody? Is your hair straight or curled or loose curled, or what are you wearing? I got this on the Fremont Street Experience, I know. It all starts local. So these dumb MFs are playing the Happy Bruno Pluto Mars song. Do I care? Do I care? Of course not. Does it remind me of my puppy Happy? He's a Pomsky. Some of us know him. Of course not. Now, you know, I did when it came on the radio and my CD or YouTube wasn't working and it came, oh, happy, okay. And like I did, it is what it is. This guy sticking his tongue out at me, this driver, I said, what are you looking at? And this one goes, what do you mean? What do you mean like this? Ugh. What's your name? What's your badge number? What's your badge number?
I was just asking how your night was.
No, you didn't. My name's Maria Athens. Deuce, honey. Is this to a pub crawl? What's your name? So just for reference, that sign, I think it's white whale or hump whale or something, it almost fell on me. So I pushed it over. So these people came over here and put it back.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I know. White whale. So I almost hit it. Your sign almost hit me. Oh, good. If you don't know, now you know. Everywhere who I am. I support Palestine too. And my best friend Maxine told me, and I support Israel too, always have. That's all they know. The ones that are at the Gaza Strip. Silence racism, stop sexism, protect the vote. Solidarity forever. I don't need a rainbow flag to know what I like or want or who I am, but some good people do, not you. Resist. Indivisible Las Vegas. No kings, no dictators, Trump sessions. The ice age is over. And she is filming me. It's Maria Athens, the one and only. And I've heard they all fantasize about me. I don't even know about that. Ew. And other people too. Because I'm all that. I know I am. Or do you like men or women or both? You're not my type. How old are you? 60? I'm 47. You were ugly at any age, and you're doing this totally illegal to me. Where's good healthy MPD? They're not around here.
Right there.
Okay. Oh, what I always wanted, right? What I always wanted. To go to Alaska, and I don't even know how long this has been going on, right? To carbon copy everything about me, along with my 3 service animals who are alive, Kalamata Cthulhu, Happy, and Agape in the life and, well, always organic and always legal afterlife, right? And I'm there, pin up something for Las Vegas. I'm from the Regency Towers, I know. Very funny. Shots. TGI Friday, Epsilon. Can you? I don't know if you can. Like I would ever put you in any of my coverage. So this is my last one for this, well, fabulous Friday night. And well, I would be down here probably walking Happy Athens. He's a Pomsky. He's black, white, blue, and pink because it is hot here. And it is, well, mid to late May now because it's, well, May 22nd. And I really like, you know what, I always wait and touch the pavement to see if it's okay. And he was walking and she's on my fault. I like this picture. I was confused. So now we have an LVMPD police SUV and a motorcycle right here. And I've never lived down here. Well, I have lived down here at Resolutions with Agape and Lil Randall, but I didn't go out at night. So is it always like this? No, not like this. Because I left Scott Centers and realized, well, he was the direct link to me, right? The direct link to me, cloning and abusing and so much more. All four of us, and we're all mammals. You remember me? Let's be. I walk my dog Happy all the time down here. It's black, white, blue, and pink. You've worked here for a long time. I think I like the El Cortez. And of course, the owner, with respect to whoever that is, I think I saw some good articles and videos online, but AI's messing with me. And you know who I am, right? With my dog, I had longer hair.
I can't swear who you are.
Okay.
So many people.
Right. How long have you worked here?
For a few years.
Okay. Do you remember if you worked, there was that skipper key there? And I had Happy and his eyes looked so broken.
I don't know, honey.
I'm really glad I got this. Thank you. Reporting from downtown Las Vegas, I'm Maria Athens, live. And there's a sphere, not at my, well, RT25D or at 18H. That guy screaming outside and one of their bugs is on my bed. Our bed. Ew! Ew! I got it. I got it. I got it. So it's real, but it's not. Still moving. So it's real, but it's not, like I said. And there it is. And some AIs in China, their AIs cutting hair. AI robots are cutting hair. Of course, this man is screaming out here with his, well, everything out. Waterlog my phone. So I always slept with Kalamata Gatula in the bed. She's a cat. She wasn't really a snuggler, okay? I don't usually use that word. So Scott Centers, when we moved to the Regency Towers, all of a sudden he says Kalamata Gatula can't sleep in the bedroom. And the door would be closed and she would cry and it would break my heart. But when he traveled extensively, he said usually to Alaska, I, of course, well, let her sleep in the bed, which was a lot of the time. And I would change the sheets and do the whole thing. And sometimes he would catch me, right? And he'd usually be in a bad mood when he got off his so-called planes. And I'd say, of course not, she didn't sleep in the bed. So now the last, I don't know, it's been about 10 months, right? Because it's, well, May 23rd and July 25th is, well, I saw them the 26th and I went home for one night before I checked myself back into Sunrise for 2 nights. And then, of course, when I came back, Scott Randall Centers was up there with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department police officers. So it's been 10 months, give or take a couple hours. So primarily at the Regency Towers. So she started, and in Alabama, but of course here, getting on my pillow, like, you know, a pillow on this side, right, on my right side. So I would come sleep, and she would be there, okay? And of course, whatever was going on in her room and everything else that I didn't know about. Then she would get up, and she would use her litter box. And she is very vocal. She always has been. I always joke she's smarter than anybody in Greece, including myself. She could be the Prime Minister of Greece. You ask her a question, she answers you in a complete sentence, and she sings, and she is very special. So she would be like, ee! You know, and I would always say, doesn't she sound, it doesn't sound right. It sounds like, you know, and he'd be like, oh, she's always like that. Oh, she's always like that. You know, and, you know, I was and am scared of him. So looking back, which I realized in August or even maybe July of last year, probably August, he would always get up. He would always get up and pretend to go get water or use the bathroom, right? And so what he really was doing, and I'm just checking if this is off, but I don't think it is, what he was doing is somehow collecting her waste. And this is true because of all of those little high-tech beetles I found in our love seats and everything else. And like I said yesterday in my previous newscast, if Kalamata Gatula and I saw each other the last time when I was, not exactly sober on their prescription meds or whatever, and I don't use the word meds until I was in this ghetto rehab community, not by choice, but it did help me through whoever was or was not in, our unit. Yeah, and he doesn't care about animals, and I always said he loves Agape and Kalamata so much for only being in their life for 5 years, and that was, over 7 years ago. Footnote, I forgot, let me insert this right now. When Agape was, dying, because that started in about January 25th, 2023. It was really bad. And I was on the floor with her, and she was dying. And Scott was yelling at me, "She's gonna die!" And I'm like, I know. So I laid there with her. Now, we were in the bedroom. He was in the bed, and, Agape and I's heads were faced, north, and then our heads were faced south, and our feet were faced north. He was on the bed. Then he said Kalamata Kadula will sleep with all of us, what was she watching or not. So at that time, that's when I contacted Animal Family Pet Preservation. That's when I did it. And he said, "You're not doing that, any of it." And at first I was thinking skeletal articulation, but thank God I didn't do that. Thank God. And I said, "No, I am. I'm doing this. I stood up for, us. I said, this is the love of my life. I've had her almost 19 years. That's what I'm doing. I'm not asking your permission. I'm letting you know that's what I'm doing, and I have the money, and I'm going to pay for it." And she made it till May 10th, 2023. So